ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Jai Gurudev. Just give me 2 minutes and I'll come back and we'll get started, okay? 1 second.
Hariom, Dr. Pramra, what did you say?
Jai Gurudev, can't hear anything.
Yeah, if someone can start reading, I I will. I'm needed at another place. So if one of you can start reading, that will be fine. Otherwise, just wait for a few minutes and I'll be back. Jai Gurudev. So the last verse we saw was, I think there has been some we just go through this last verse once before going on to the further verse. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Taking pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat to be the same, prepare for battle. Thus you will incur no sin. Taking pleasure and pain with equanimity, as though they are one and the same, is the seed for Karma Yoga. The same applies to gain and loss, victory and defeat, success and failure. Krishna sowed the seed here and discussed it later. The whole Gita is based on the psychology of raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. Raga and dvesha are the known causes for our sorrow. There may be 100 unknown causes, but they can all be reduced to raga dvesha. Karma Yoga was being propounded here by Krishna, who said in so many words, don't fight for the sake of raga or dvesha. We should not fight just because we do not like someone, nor should we fight just because we like to fight. Raga dveshas are not involved here, only dharma and adharma. Arjuna was not fighting out of spite, whereas Duryodhana was fighting because of raga or because of both raga and dvesha. He had raga for the kingdom and dvesha for the Pandavas. He had always been jealous of them and could not stand to see them ruling. Thus, Krishna acknowledged that Duryodhana was fighting out of raga dveshas, whereas Arjuna must fight against raga dveshas. Krishna also told Arjuna that in fighting this war, in reality, he was not fighting against Duryodhana. He was fighting against raga dveshas, and therefore the battle was one of dharma adharma. Do what is to be done. Krishna said here, because what was to be done happened to be a fight, he said, fight. Because Arjuna was doing his swadharma, Krishna assured him that he would incur no sin. Na evam papam avapsyasi. In fact, by performing this action, he would gain only punya and not papa. To fight this battle was to uphold dharma, so that raga dveshas would not rule. This then is the entire psychology of the Gita. Let raga dveshas not be the deciding factor. Let the sense of right and wrong prevail in its place. Let the sense of what is to be done and not to be done be the deciding factor. Then you become a yogi, as we shall see later. Taking the opposites, pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat as the same, striving to do what is right and thereby incurring no sin is Karma Yoga in seed form, Bija Rupa, planted here in this verse. Later in this chapter and elsewhere in the Gita, Krishna picks it up again. Krishna had talked to Arjuna mainly about Atma, saying that Atma is something for his existence, that it is not subject to death. And so on. In fact, he taught Arjuna the nature, Swarupa of Atma. This is called Sankhya, meaning both Brahman
and the knowledge of Brahman. The jnanis who have this knowledge, the jnanis who have this knowledge of Brahman are also called Sankhyas. In the next verse, Krishna tells Arjuna that thus far he had talked about Sankhya, the nature of Atma, and now he would elaborate upon Karma Yoga, which had been said only in seed form, that is, briefly thus far. In this way, he introduced the two different topics of the Gita Shastra, Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Because this is such an important section of the Gita, Shankara comments upon it in some detail. Just let me share screen one more time. There is some scratches that I cannot remove. Give me a second. Yeah. If anyone wants to discuss this before we go to the next verse. So the difference here was in acting out of raga dveshas, which Duryodhana did, and what Krishna was goading Arjuna to do, which was out of right and wrong, out of dharma and adharma, out of the concept of dharma and adharma. So every action is prompted by a thought, and the thinking process itself needs to be refined. Are we keeping the filter of raga dveshas before we? Is our thinking governed by raga dveshas, or is it governed by the sense of right and wrong? which is why I think the Shama, Dhamma, all these come into picture when as pillars of knowledge. Because unless we have a say on our senses, we would not have a say on our raga dveshas. Otherwise, it is like letting the mind go astray. Whatever the mind wants, we would have those kinds of thoughts. And then actions also are prompted by these kind of thoughts. So if we have a say on our senses, if we have a say, then the mind is in our control. It's like the reins of the horses in the hands of Krishna. So who are we giving the reins of the horse to? Is it just the mind, which is raga dveshas, or is it the intellect? If Krishna is our driver of the chariot of our mind, then we'll be prompted to doing actions which are according to dharma. एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि. Sankhya in self-knowledge, Esha this, Buddhihi wisdom, Te to you, Abhihita has been told, Yogetu but with reference to yoga, Imam this, Shrunu please listen, Partha O son of Pritha, Yaya with which, Buddhya wisdom, Yuktaha endowed, Karma bandham bondage of action, Prahasyasi you will get rid of. Sankhye Esha Buddhihi Te Abhihita Yogetu Imam Shrunu Partha Yaya Buddhya Yuktaha Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. This wisdom, with reference to self-knowledge, has so far been told to you. Now, listen also to the wisdom of yoga, endowed with which you will get rid of the bondage of action, O son of Pritha. In verses 11 through 30 of this chapter, the knowledge taught by Krishna to Arjuna is Sankhya, meaning Brahman, the nature of reality of the Atma, whereas verses 31 to 38 are purely contextual and have nothing to do with the nature of the Atma. These 8 verses are therefore unconnected to the topic under discussion and are not referred to in the present verse as the knowledge given thus far. They can, however, be brought under yoga or dharma. Although not Sankhya Shastra, they are contextual in the flow, representing a particular argument from the standpoint of one's dharma alone, entailing simple worldly reasoning. The argument presented is not from the standpoint of Paramatma. It relates only to what is to be done at a given time. In verse 11 through 16 of this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna introduced the topic under discussion, that is, the nature of Atma, and then went on to explain it in depth. Because its subject matter is Sankhya, the chapter is called Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya alone is not discussed here. Other topics are also mentioned. For instance, Krishna talks about Karma Yoga as we are about to see. Sankhya, however, is definitely the predominant topic throughout the chapter. It is unlikely that Vyasa himself actually gave the Gita chapters their titles. They were probably added by others to indicate the central topic of each chapter. In all the chapters, the topics indicated by their titles are discussed, along with other topics. In fact, although the 12th chapter is called Bhakti Yoga, there is an even more extensive discussion on this topic, Bhakti, in the 11th chapter, where Arjuna praised Lord Krishna. Similarly, in the chapter entitled Dhyana Yoga, there are only a few verses about meditation, dhyana itself. Up to the point we have reached in this chapter, Sankhya has been taught, and this particular verse is a provisional conclusion of the topic. For those who study Vedanta Shastra, it is very important to know why Krishna concluded the topic here as he did. The reason is that there are two Shastras within the Gita Shastra, the Karma Shastra and the Moksha Shastra. Moksha Shastra is Vedanta, and the Gita can be considered a Moksha Shastra. Karma Shastra is the Karma Kanda, which discusses the various rituals, karmas, or means, sadhanas, to gain various ends, sadhyas. Karma Kanda is also Veda, but karma is its subject matter. The subject matter of Moksha Shastra is knowledge, jnana. The difference between Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga. Moksha Shastra can be viewed from two standpoints with reference to the two possible lifestyles, Karma Yoga and Sankhya or Sannyasa. Both are meant for moksha alone because the difference between karma and karma yoga must be clearly understood. Krishna talked about it. Doing karma for the sake of self-purification is karma yoga. It indicates that the person has discrimination, viveka, and knows that he or she wants moksha because to gain moksha, one requires a certain mind. And to gain that mind, one performs actions, karmas, with a certain attitude. That attitude converts it into yoga. Merely doing karma is not yoga. For example, there is a set of prayers called Nitya Karmas that are to be done daily. One of these prayers is called Sandhya Vandana. Vandana means salutation or prayer, and Sandhya refers to the 3 times of day that the prayer is to be performed. In the morning, as the sun rises, at noon, and in the evening, as the sun sets. The literal meaning of Sandhya is a time when two periods of time join, meet. For example, it indicates the time when the day has not yet begun because the sun has not risen, but the night has already rolled away. Similarly, another Sandhya is when the sun has already set, but the night has not yet come. The third Sandhya is in the middle, exactly at noon, neither forenoon nor afternoon. These Nitya Karmas can be done for the sake of some result later or for the sake of purifying the mind. Antakarana Shuddhi. Why would anyone want Antakarana Shuddhi? Because the mind, Antakarana, is necessary for gaining self-knowledge. Therefore, karma is performed as an indirect means for moksha, to prepare the mind for gaining the knowledge. When the prayer is done for Antakarana Shuddhi, the person has no other result in mind. He or she only asks that the Lord be pleased with the karma and bless him or her with a purified mind. Karma may be performed out of joy or out of a concept of duty as a prayer. When it is performed as a prayer for the sake of Antakarana Shuddhi and Moksha, it becomes a yoga.
Can you again say about the Sankhya Yoga and the Karma Yoga? Both differentiation?
Yeah, let me just finish this part
Yeah.
and we'll get. A number of topics come under Karma Yoga, including prayer, devotion, samadhi, and Ashtanga Yoga for the sake of samadhi, all of which are stated in Shankara's Bhashya to this verse. The verse itself reveals that there is a division or difference between the two subject matters, Sankhya and Karma Yoga. If this division is not clear, the entire Gita will appear to be full of contradictions and the listener will be confused. Whereas, if the division is clear, understanding is possible. The listener will know what is meant when it is said that for the sannyasis there is only Jnana Yoga, and for the others who are also seekers, Karma Yoga is the means for gaining moksha. The subject matter of this knowledge is Sankhya, a discriminative presentation of what is real and what is not real. Every step of the unfoldment is based on discrimination. For example, the body, Deha, is subject to death, whereas the one who dwells in the body, Dehi, is not, and so on. The discrimination is presented because people usually think that when the Deha is destroyed, the Dehi is also destroyed. When one is not mistaken for the other, there is discrimination, and it is this knowledge that has been given with reference to the reality of the Atma. Thus, Krishna said, so far, whatever I have taught you is with reference to Sankhya. Sankhye esha buddhihi maya abhihita tubhyam. So, what I will do actually is to go back to the verses. I'm just going to chant these verses because then we will get a perspective. Just give me a second. So, Gita is actually, see, the wisdom with reference to self knowledge has so far been told to you. Now, listen also to the wisdom of yoga. So, from verses 11 through 30, Krishna taught the knowledge that was Sankhya, meaning Brahman, the nature of reality of the Atma. And then verses 31 to 38 are purely contextual. He keeps saying there is you have no there is no reason to sorrow, no reason to grieve. So those 31 to 38. Let me just chant all these verses. This is those of you who have the Gita text. This is chapter 12, chapter 2, verse number 11. श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासु न गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं
12, 12,
यौवनम्
12 you have left.
Oh, sorry. न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम् देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्णसुखदुःखदाः आगमापायिनो नित्याः तां स्थितिक्षस्व भारत यं हि न व्यथयन्त्येते पुरुषं पुरुषर्षभ समदुःखसुखं धीरं सोमृतत्वाय कल्पते नासतो विद्यते भावो नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अन्तवन्त इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे वेदा विनाशिनं नित्यं य एनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ घातयति हन्तिकम् वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो न शोषयति मारुतः अच्छेद्योऽयमदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणुः अचलोऽयं सनातनः अव्यक्तोऽयमचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयमुच्यते तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं नानुशोचितुमर्हसि अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैवं शोचितुमर्हसि जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्येथे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव तत्र का परिदेवना आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित् देहि नित्यमवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. So till here it was taught, what was taught was Sankhya. Actually, I have the Bhagavad Gita home study verses here. So for those of us who I'm just going to be reading the meanings of these verses that I've chanted so far, from starting from the 11th. So you grieve for those who should not be grieved for, yet you speak words of wisdom. The wise do not grieve for those who are living, or for those who are no longer living. There was a time that I did not exist. Sorry, there was never a time that I did not exist, nor you, nor these kings, nor will any of us cease to exist in the future. Just as how, for an indweller of this body, the jiva, there is childhood, youth, and old age, so too is the gaining of another body. With reference to that, a wise person does not come to grief. O son of Kunti, the contacts of the sense organs with the sensory world, which give rise to cold and heat, pleasure and pain, which have the nature of coming and going, are not constant. Endure them, O Bharata, descendant of Bharata. O Arjuna, the prominent among men, The person whom these sukha and dukkha do not affect, who is the same in pleasure and pain, and who is discriminative, is fit for gaining liberation. For the unreal, mithya, there is never any being. For the real, there is never any non being. The ultimate truth of both of these is seen by the knowers of the truth. Know that by which this entire world is pervaded to be indeed indestructible. No one can bring about the destruction of the one that does not change. This self is never born, nor does it die. It is not that, having been, it ceases to exist again. This self is unborn, eternal, undergoes no change whatsoever, and is ever new. When the body is destroyed, it is not destroyed. O son of Pritha, the one who knows this self to
Dr. Brahmara, did you leave a couple of sentences in between? These bodies of embodied one, the self, 18.
Oh, I think this one does not have that 18. I'm wondering why. Yeah, there are two
Oh,
sentences. Two. Can you read that? Because in the book I
yeah,
have.
sure. I'll read it.
Yeah,
Okay.
please read.
These bodies, that's 18. These bodies of embodied one, the self, which is not subject to change, which is indestructible, and which is not available not available as an object of knowledge or subject to end. Therefore, O Bharata, fight. 19. Both the one who thinks this self to be the killer and the one who thinks of it as the killed do not know. This self does not kill, nor is it killed. Yeah, go on with the 20 now. That's all.
Just a sec.
Okay.
So this self is never born, nor does it die. It is not that, having been, it ceases to exist again. This self is unborn, eternal, undergoes no change whatsoever, and is ever new. When the body is destroyed, it is not destroyed. O son of Pritha, the one who knows this self to be indestructible, timeless, unborn, and not subject to decline, how and whom does that person kill? Whom does he cause to kill? Just as a person gives up old clothes and takes up new ones, so too the indweller of the body gives up old bodies and takes others which are new. This self cannot be cut, burnt, drowned, or dried. It is changeless, all pervading, stable, immovable, and eternal. This self is said to be unmanifest, not an object of thought, and not subject to change. Therefore, knowing this, you should not grieve. And if you take the Atma to have constant birth and death, even then, O mighty armed, you ought not to grieve for the Atma in this manner. Because for that which is born, death is certain, and for that which is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, you should not grieve over that which cannot be altered. All beings are unmanifest in the beginning, manifest in the middle, and again unmanifest in the end. What indeed is there to grieve about, O Bharata? One looks upon the self as a wonder. Similarly, another speaks of it as a wonder. Still another, even after hearing about the self, does not understand it at all. But if you refuse to engage, yeah, so that is up to 29. There are some verses that are skipped here in this, wondering why. The next verse that comes on for me is 33. So, this was all the knowledge about the Atma that was given. So, this is the Sankhya Yoga. Then, verse 30 to 38 were just contextual in that I have.
Dr. Brahmana, this one you sent it in the past under the Prasanatrayam part 3.
Correct, correct.
That's one I have, June 2015 document.
Yes. Do you have verse 30 over there? 30, 31, 32?
Yeah, I have.
You have?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Can you read those?
Okay. This Atma, the indweller of the bodies of all beings, is ever indestructible. O Bharata, therefore you ought not to grieve for all these people. 31. And also from the standpoint of your duty, you should not waver, for there is nothing greater for a Kshatriya than a righteous war. 32 is, and O son of Pritha, only lucky Kshatriyas get this kind of battle, which has come by chance, and which is an open gate to heaven. And then 33 you have, right? But if you refuse to engage in this war, which is in keeping with Dharma, then forfeiting your own duty and honor, you will incur sin.
Yeah,
Also,
please continue.
you,
Yeah, because I have
you want me
some
to continue?
Yeah,
Okay,
continue.
okay. Also, people will speak of your unending infamy, for the honored dishonor is surely worse than death. Okay, for the honored, dishonor is surely worse than death. The great warriors will consider you as having retreated from battle due to fear, and you, having been so highly esteemed by them, will fall in their esteem and belittling, sorry, so and belittling your prowess. Your enemies will say many unutterable things about you. Is there anything more painful than that? Destroyed, you will gain heaven. Victorious, you will enjoy the world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, get up, having resolved to fight. Taking pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat, to be the same, prepare for battle. Thus you will incur no sin.
Yeah, thank you. So up until here, up until
Mm.
actually 31 to 38 is what he said.
8, yeah, that's
38.
what
So
you read.
they're all
Yeah, 30.
surely they were not talking about Atma. He's Krishna was only telling Arjuna, if you do not fight, you will be incurring sin. People will talk ill of you. You running away from the battle is adharmic. As a kshatriya, this is a beautiful opportunity. It's uh, and only lucky people get this opportunity to fight such a dharmic war. So stand up and fight. So those were all just the contextual verses. So the first 11 to 30 is what Krishna talked about the Atma, but the knowledge of the Atma, the nature of Atma. That is Sankhya Yoga. Whereas from now 38 onwards down, he's introduced the seed of Karma Yoga. So he said, till now I've talked to you about Sankhya. Now listen to me, I'm going to talk to you about the Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga or the Karma Yoga means the same. Now, um,
In Karma Yoga, he told two types, that's sannyasa and Karma Yoga, knowing the highest to do the karma.
See, Moksha Shastra, it is not Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is Karma Yoga. There is no sannyasa involved there. So, Gita is a Moksha Shastra. So, there are two aspects to the Moksha Shastra and Gita, two subject matters. One is Karma Yoga and the other is Sankhya Yoga. So, Moksha Shastra can be viewed from two standpoints with reference to these two possible lifestyles. So, two subject matters are Karma Yoga and Brahma Shastra. Yoga Shastra, Brahma Vidya. Yeah, Yoga Shastra and Brahma Vidya are the two subject matters. But this again has two possible lifestyles. One is Karma Yoga and the other is Sannyasa or Sankhya. Both are meant for moksha alone. Because the difference between karma and karma yoga must be clearly understood, Krishna talked about it. So, even there, what is karma shastra is different. Karma shastra is the karma kanda aspect of the Veda, where you do certain rituals, uh, you follow the rituals in order to gain something in the end. Whereas karma yoga is action done, karma done with the sole purpose of antakarana shuddhi, to just purify the mind. In order to gain, why do we need to purify the mind? In order to gain self knowledge. So, both lifestyles, karma yoga as well as sannyasa, they lead to the same end point of moksha. There are only two different lifestyles. This is what Arjuna kept getting confused about. He was thinking sannyasa is the only way, whereas both lifestyles lead to the same goal. So merely doing karma is not yoga, but doing it with that discrimination. Doing karma for the sake of self purification is karma yoga. It indicates that the person has discrimination, viveka, and knows that he or she wants moksha, because to gain moksha, one requires a certain mind. And to gain that mind, one performs actions, karmas, with a certain attitude. This attitude converts it into yoga. And what is this attitude? This attitude is that which is devoid of raga and dvesha. It is with an attitude of doing what is to be done. And then he goes on to talking about the nitya karma, sandhya vandana. So you can do these nitya karmas for the sake of some result later. You can do it because in the karma kanda it is said if you do nitya karma, you will gain punya. You'll go to heaven. You can either do it like that, or you can just do it as a prayer out of a sense of duty, out of a sense of joy. You're just doing it for the sake of antakarna shuddhi. So the person has no other end in mind except for antakarna shuddhi. A number of topics come under karma yoga, including prayer, devotion, samadhi, and ashtanga yoga. So the subject matter, so here the division is not, if this division is not clear between the two subject matters, the differences between the two subject matters, then the understanding of Gita will not be as it has to be. It will appear to be full of contradictions. So this division, if it is clear, understanding is possible. The listener will know what is meant when it is said that for sannyasis there is only jnana yoga, and for others who are also seekers, karma yoga is the means for gaining moksha. So we'll stop here today. I think the difference between Sankhya yoga and karma yoga is clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Huh?
Yeah, Sankhya Yoga is about Atma, right? I mean, learning about the Atma.
It is about the nature of, it's about Brahman and about the
Swarupa,
nature, knowledge of Brahman.
knowledge of the Brahman. Yeah.
That is Sankhya.
Mhm.
So for the sannyasis, the lifestyle of sannyasa, they have given up all karmas, including nitya karmas, naimittika karmas. So they would only pursue knowledge. So therefore, for the sannyasis, there is jnana yoga. Whereas for those that are, for those, the other seekers, the other lifestyle of karma yoga, there is karma yoga is the means for gaining moksha. Yeah, we'll stop here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
चलो विल डू ए शॉर्ट मेडिटेशन. हाँ, सब लोग आराम से बैठ जाइए. एवरीवन सिट कंफर्टेबली इजली. रीढ़ की हड्डी सीधा रखे. लेट्स कीप आवर स्पाइन इरेक्ट. Let's take our attention to the top of the head. And become aware of the vast sky above the head. सिर के ऊपर विशाल गगन है. उस गगन से तरंग हमारे सिर पर पड़ रही है इस वक्त. इसका स्मरण करें. Become aware of the vast space and cosmic rays from the universe falling on your head right this moment. मुस्कुराते मुस्कुराते सारे तरंगों को अपने भीतर स्वीकार करें. With a smile, receive all the vibrations, cosmic vibrations, into your body. Vedic chantings are there, are happening. All other sounds are there. Just welcome them all. मंत्र घोष भी चल रहे कहीं दूर. पूरे वातावरण में पवित्र तरंग उठ रहे हैं. इन सब को आप स्वीकार करें अपने भीतर. Let's also chant Om. हम भी 3 बार ओंकार का ध्वनि करते हैं. गहरी सांस लीजिए. रिलैक्स योर होल बॉडी, पूरे शरीर को ढीला छोड़ दें. Let every cell in our body start to relax, expand, and smile. ओम शांति शांति शांति. और धीरे धीरे आंखें खोल सकते हो. Slowly and gradually you may open your eyes.
Right now